All right, Dr. Sean King, Senior Vice President of Park Strategies, live out of New York. Sean, how important is this latest test, or significant?
We won't know until we know whether it was made out of uranium or plutonium. It is bigger than the last one, but the real game changer could be if it was made out of uranium, because North Korea's supplies of plutonium are finite, but it has near endless supply of uranium. So if it's managed to enrich uranium and weaponize it, that's a real game changer because they have an endless supply. It's also the same technology that Iran's using, so it has implications across the world.
All right, talking U-235 there. I mean, trace elements likely to be in the atmosphere. How long is it going to take before we know?
I've read a few weeks, but I'm not an expert, so I'll wait for people who know more about it to speak. But I've heard it could take a few days or it could take a few weeks.
Okay, so here's the thing. I mean, if it is
uranium,
who's to say
there's also...
Go ahead.
Yeah, it could be another test coming soon. You know, North Korea's flirted with the idea of having done a double test, which it didn't do this time, but it's already said this is just the beginning and more tests could be forthcoming. So even if this was plutonium, there could be a uranium test coming. So we just don't know till it happens.
Okay. Sean, condemnation from the international community, that's to be expected, but condemnation from Pyongyang's only major ally, China, how significant is that?
It's symbolically significant, but it won't matter much unless China cuts North Korea loose, which it doesn't show any sign of doing because it's not yet comfortable with the idea of a united Korea on its doorstep. I doubt they're going to sign up to any tougher sanctions than they did last time. If they do, I'll be the first to give them credit for it, but I doubt they'll sign up for tougher sanctions. And, you know, the sanctions really won't make that much difference because North Korea is pretty much sanctioned out as it is. It's important we keep them and increase them to make it harder for North Korea to get the parts to make the nukes or to proliferate them. But really, at the end of the day, China's got to cut North Korea loose, let it fend for itself, collapse, and unite with South Korea. Until then, not much is going to change. We're going to be in this pickle for a while.
Yeah, you know, Sean, the reason this particular test worries me more, and tell me what you think, whether you agree or not, is the fact that miniaturization was at work. I mean, looking back a couple of decades, I mean, we remember that the Pakistani rogue scientist A.Q. Khan, he had been peddling a miniaturized design. So if, in effect, that's what they tested, doesn't it mean that this isn't just a test for North Korea? It is also potentially a test for Iran.
Yeah, that's what I was saying in the beginning. In fact, the enrichment of uranium technology came from Pakistan. So you can almost assume that what North Korea is doing, Iran's doing the same or just behind. Also, this is in tandem with the rocket launch that it did in December. So as it gets a smaller weapon, it also has a rocket that can carry it further. So yes, the X and Y axis are about to meet within 3 to 5 years where this is a very real threat. I don't think North Korea is actually going to use a nuclear weapon on Japan or the United States because the regime's chief goal is preservation of its power and its lavish lifestyle. It holds out a nuclear weapon as a trump card to get direct talks with the United States, diplomatic recognition, and more aid so it can stay in power for as many Kim generations as possible. Also it uses as a cover or a get-out-of-jail-free card in the event of another Korean war. I don't think they're going to actually use it anytime soon, but it is a very real possibility that they will have a nuclear warhead that can be put on a missile that could hit the western United States. I just don't think they're going to use it.
All right. So what does it mean for security in Northeast Asia where things have been so tense over the past year or so?
I don't think it means that much. I'm very reassured because Madam Park won election president in South Korea, so she's going to be tough. Abe's pretty tough. I hope Abe doesn't bite off more than he can chew in revising the Constitution and ends up having to kiss up to China like he did last time he was in office. And Obama says he's still committed to the Asia pivot. And this week, we said we take Japan's side on the fact that China locked its radar on the Japanese Navy in the Senkaku. So that gives me confidence we're going to stand by Japan in the East China Sea. So long as Obama continues with the pivot, Abe doesn't shoot his mouth off too much, and Madam Park's in Seoul, I feel pretty good. It's not an ideal situation, but I'm not scared.
Doesn't this test tell you that at the end of the day, North Korea's military has the upper hand here?
No, Kim Jong-un has the upper hand. Kim Jong-un has the upper hand. You know, the military answers to him. His grandfather's name is in the Constitution. They can't exist without him. There's no need for him to consolidate power. He has all the power. He runs the military. He is the military.
Okay, Sean, listen, got to go. Great to talk to you. Appreciate the time. Sean Park Strategies there.